Okay, I just talked with Doris. Anyway, so funny. It's like, do you think this tree should be cut? I mean, what kind of shape is that? Like, let's have it flower like this. I mean, this could have been cut down to 3, 4, even 5 feet, and then there would have been new green leaves and new flowers all in a nice area. But for the rest of the summer, we're gonna have a monstrosity. So yeah, Doris had a few things to say. I've recorded the conversation so that you can hear, but she pretty much said, well, I'll let you hear it. Anyway, here is where the sprinkler was broken. Just trying to see if that was fixed. I love that you can always find these constantly everywhere. I thought it was somewhere over here. I guess, is that capped? Anyway, I guess that's capped. There's also remaining debris from whenever, maybe that's just a plant that died. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 places. There were probably plants that have died recently, just since Classic has been here, because that's their irrigation. This whole area must have had some plants. I guess they all died and they pulled them out. But anyway, they were cleaning this the other day and stopped halfway through. And this is what this looks like today. I love it when it's like almost hedged, but then we just completely miss the spot, you know? And the fact that they can't hedge these back things because there's no plant left but the very new tippy growth. And that's like all the back bushes, it's all dying. This is beautiful. Like, this could have been just, literally everyone I talked to is like, oh my gosh, $15,000 a month. I could do a better job if you pay me that. Which is probably very true. Just like back there, it's just so, like, why? And in some parts, it almost looks like they trim the front bush. Not recently, but, within the last year. But they haven't even trimmed the backs in so long. I know we walked all of this, but there's still dandelions everywhere. Those hedges haven't been trimmed. It's like in the past, you would just come and take care of a whole building. Like you would do all the hedges and prune up or trim all the plants like this. Like, this could be in a round shape. It doesn't have to look like that. And then you would come in and clean up all the debris, the leaves, the debris, clean out everything like it's brand new. But they don't do that. It's like, okay, we're going to trim this house's hedge and that's it. And then they walk away. They don't clean out the debris. They don't trim any other plants. And I know you guys are in love with these flowers, but here's the truth of it. Like, half of them are already wilted and dead. And literally, let us have one. Look at this rose. Yay for this rose. You think this might not be getting water? It's just falling over. Something's not right. And we got 80,000 drippers and all these tubes. We got like 100 yards of tubes running back and forth. This just looks like a pile of manure. I guess one of the freaking dog shit in here too. Like, Jiminy. Ay. But yeah, these flowers are on the way out. Let us have 100 day of heat, which May's here, so we could easily have that. And then all of that stuff that was so beautiful down the drain, And of course, I doubt they're going to replace it. Obviously, this hasn't been trimmed. We got palm trees growing in there. filled with stuff. I mean, it's funny because down there they have one that's actually trimmed up, but this one didn't obviously make the cut. Like, nope. You are not important enough to trim you back. I mean, all of it, every single plant. See right here. So this is trimmed. This is the same exact thing as this. But obviously this person called and said, I need my oleander trimmed. And so they came and they just did that. So Doris was just telling me the Scooty, she lives right down there where they hide out all the time. And she said they'll literally stay there all day. And they see them napping out there on the grass. But that is the spot, you know, at the back of the community. They do it up by building 15 in the corner too. But it's just good to hear other people say it, because I've been saying all this stuff, but apparently I'm the only one who's actually out watching the neighborhood. This is just filled with debris too. You think maybe that this is, it really looks like it's eventually going to flower, but that's a mess, that tree. There's weeds just all throughout that rock, like it hasn't been touched in over a year, probably over 2 or 3 years. Like it's just like these weeds don't grow this fast. You know, it's not like this is a season. Look at all the dead leaves. It actually looks like it's clear that this area just got trimmed because there's still green leaves all over the ground. So if they do come and actually hedge something, which again, you can see they just hedged the front, they did a very crappy job of hedging the back. I mean, but they didn't pick up after themselves. Then we also have 3 lines, just shooting crazy, and weeds everywhere. There's so much of this, you guys, just poorly done, wasting water over here in a corner that why would anyone even be over here? This is like the most corner of a corner in the middle back of the community, but we're wasting. Their drippers, they run for 30 minutes, at least the ones by me. So 30 minutes, I mean, one dripper, I would feel like in 3 or 4 minutes I could get a gallon. The way I've seen these, like, really, you know, it's like a hose. So how long has that been there? I bet you that's been like that for years. This is all filthy. I mean, this is the other thing with the rock. Like she was also saying, you think they would put the rock back where it goes so that people aren't stepping on it and tripping on it. But as soon as they put this rock in, I thought that's a problem. What is this? Like you can see, they don't have any respect for anything on the property. This, you can barely see the rock. All of that is just debris. This, you really can't even see the rock. Oh, look, is this another? No, it's just a tree limb. Gosh, look at how much. I mean, this is wild. It's wild, it's upsetting. It's like, oh, we don't know how to trim an oleander. Well, you certainly trimmed this one and hacked it all up nicely. So I'm just tired of all these excuses. This is really crazy. So if we still have grass, it all kind of looks like this. It's all spotty and dying because it's filled with debris constantly. I don't know if you can see, but like this is why these haven't been trimmed, but they don't look so bad. This is right by the mailboxes, so I mean, this is really terrible. Like, they intentionally blow this. Ow, ow, ow. They intentionally blow this stuff in there. Honestly, I have to stop touching these plants because I'm really allergic, and after I'm like all swollen. Not trimmed, dying, full of debris, not trimmed. This is the mailbox area, and this is sad because it's really full of debris. I mean, all of these rocks. Okay, that was a plant. That's a plant. It wants to live. This is a plant that's so full. It's not even the first layer. Like, let's go way down inside. Oops. I mean, so this is like where all the condo owners come to get their mail. I mean, it's just so upsetting. It's oh, I'm already getting allergic. Yeah. So all that dead, there's, trash back there. Leaves everywhere. Again, oh look, 1, 2. It looks like there's another one up there. 3. Can you see the drippers that have no heads that are just 1, 2? I told you I could find over 100 if I really looked. There seems to be one right over here too. Yeah, so there's broken drippers that are just pouring water. I mean, just nothing is getting taken care of. Oh no, there's some broken drippers. Just taking note. This is obviously not hedged at all. Here's a lantana. It's a purple one. It should get bigger. The red ones are more hardy, but this is the same thing. So these flowers were pretty for a second, but give it, not even a week of sun. One day, you can see under in the bushes, it's all covered with old leaves. This is atrocious and gross. And like, why isn't that just cut out? Like, really? This used to be rosemary, but they haven't taken care of it, and this is what it looks like now. Same over here. It's pretty bad. I love how they don't think that something touching and growing into a roof is something that needs trimming. But the reality is they don't care about any of this. So here's another broken sprinkler head. You see it right there. That is, oh, there's 2. So there's that one right here. I just touched it, and that one. And there's another one right there. So this area is getting flooded. That might be why this plant looks like this. Maybe it's just getting like too much water. I'm so itchy now that I touched that. I gotta go home. Here's more. This, whatever all this nonsense is. There's another one. There's another one. So almost every, I just found at least 12. Here's one. No dripper head. No dripper head. No dripper head. Another one. Ow. No dripper head. There's another one. No dripper head. So, here. No dripper head. And a plant obviously used to live here. I mean, I don't see how I would need to make more videos of this. Like, this should be appalling. We're paying, and again, all this irrigation that's broken, they put this stuff in. What we had before worked fine. This hasn't been hedged. This used to be really pretty. Anyway, I'm almost done. There's one more thing I just want to point out. These are funny because, I'm going to point this out because over there are oleanders. These are oleanders. Because they planted them, these grow like 6 feet wide by 13 feet tall, but because they planted them, less than a foot apart, the inside is already all stalks. Look how many times they've already cut this back. It's only like 2 years old. And they just cut it down to nothing because if they don't constantly shave these into these little balls, they'll be growing into each other, but they never bloom because they have to get long enough to bloom. So you have a couple little things, but this all was a waste of money because it's gonna have to keep being trimmed. And so we're just gonna anyway, this was like nobody was thinking, and that too. These are huge, huge plants. Anyway, okay. We also see I don't know if you could see these beautiful flowers they put here that always look awful. I don't know what that's about. This stuff like this bugs me. Like you're driving out the community and you see this. Like, why would you not just cut the plant back so it looks uniform? Like, why is it okay to have gaping holes? As though that's gonna grow back anytime soon. Okay, yeah. Mailboxes look terrible. Water being wasted constantly. When they were saying, oh my gosh, we need to do all this turf conversion, I was saying, wow, if you only weren't wasting hundreds of thousands of gallons of water from the irrigation system that's never being checked, that would make sense. Okay, so this is a tree that really, none of the bushes on the ground should be there. Like, this should at least start from 5 feet, but it looks like it's just fallen over, so there's that. This hasn't been cut. Those bushes up there haven't been cut. This is one of my biggest pet peeves. One, they had this horrible branch there forever, but two, these plants, classic, put in 2001, and look at them. I mean, look at the shape. This. He's waiting for that to turn into a bush. Yeah, you could just trim this, and you don't have to have these. Every day I drive out of my neighborhood, I see this, and it's like been like this for 2 years. Like, why? And then these, you can't just hedge these? The ground is always covered with crap. I mean, this is not new stuff, guys. It's just not. This is, so they just put in new irrigation, right? You think maybe this is getting watered too much? This wasn't like this always, just so you know. This has gotten dramatically worse recently. The whole bottom is falling apart. And I think somebody came and tried to paint over it, but didn't fix the fact that too much water is happening here. This whole wall's gonna fall apart. But yeah, let's keep. All this brown stuff at the base should just be pulled out. Dandelions everywhere. This plant's a problem too. This used to be a hedged, trim back little bush, but you see half of it's just falling down. The whole plant is dying, and it's been dying. So what they'll do is they'll come trim this, and they'll trim this, and they'll just keep letting it die. They've been doing that for years. What's back here? Could this be why this plant is dying? There's so much debris. Similar to this. Could this be... I love how they just put drippers up anywhere and everywhere. Like, no plan. This is just a big glob. It used to actually be trimmed back. But you could see that this is dying because it's also completely filled with debris. The grass where that like sump hole is, see how that oleander way down there is actually trimmed and starting over? It's not tiny, it's a big old plant, but it was trimmed right. And it's interesting because I find that like around Bob's building, who was on the board, things were more trimmed right, you know? These haven't been trimmed in 5-6 years. So that's why they look like this. They'll flower, but then they're just gonna look old and dead. Whereas if they look like that one I just showed you, it would all be green. All right, I guess that's the news for now.